As the evening descended upon New York City, the air inside an upscale restaurant buzzed with the symphony of fine dining. The gentle murmur of voices, the delicate chime of glasses, and the artful presentation of each dish. Yet, amidst this opulence, Emma Brooks felt a stark contrast to her surroundings. Her reflection in the polished window had served as a mirror to her insecurities. Her dress, once vibrant on another, now whispered tales of second-hand stores. Her shoes bore the scuffs of countless steps taken in doubt. Yet propelled by a promise made to her dearest friend Jenny, Emma ventured into this world of perceived perfection. With a heart racing like a hummingbird's wings, Emma clutched her phone, her lifeline, as she stepped into the restaurant. "Table S, Table S," she whispered, her breath quickening with every step. Her gaze, darting like a nervous doe, finally settled on a lone figure at the back, a man whose sharp attire and focused demeanor set him apart. "That must be him," she thought. Her step resolute yet hesitant, a smile forced upon her lips as she approached. "Hi, you must be Kevin. I'm Emma. Nice to meet you." Her voice, a blend of hope and trepidation, reached out to the man. Liam Parker, caught off guard, looked up, his eyes meeting hers in a moment of silent surprise. Hi," he managed, his usual eloquence momentarily lost. Emma, mistaking his pause for shyness, settled across from him, her hands twisting nervously in her lap. "Oh, I know, blind dates are just the weirdest, aren't they?" Jenny mentioned. "You might be a bit on the quiet side, but don't worry, I can chat enough for both of us." Liam, about to correct her, paused as he received a text from a business associate canceling their meeting. Something in Emma's earnest smile, so different from the polished veneers he was accustomed to, made him reconsider. Here was someone genuine, unguarded. A faint smile played at the corner of his lips as he decided to indulge in this unexpected turn of events, intrigued by the authenticity she radiated. "Blind dates are a unique adventure, aren't they?" Emma chuckled nervously, her laughter tinged with a hint of anxiety as she sipped her water. "Tell me about it," she sighed. "Jenny's been on a mission to find me someone for months, but I've been swamped with work, you know." "Work?" Liam inquired, his curiosity piqued despite his initial reservations. "I'm a waitress," Emma confessed, her fingers nervously tracing the napkin's edge. "Not exactly the stuff of dreams, but it keeps the lights on. Well, most of the time, anyway." She paused, her gaze lifting to meet his. "Enough about my mundane life. What's your story, Liam?" Liam shifted slightly, a flicker of hesitation crossing his features. "I work in tech." "Tech? That's fascinating!" Emma's eyes lit up, her enthusiasm genuine. "Like coding and apps and all that tech wizardry. I'm hopeless with computers." "Something like that," Liam replied, his smile broadening. He leaned back, studying her with a newfound interest. Her candidness was like a breath of fresh air, even if it was built on a foundation of mistaken identity. The conversation took on a life of its own after that. Emma regaled him with tales from her diner shifts, her battles with rent, and her dream of one day owning her own art studio. Liam found himself laughing, a sound he hadn't heard from himself in months. Her passion was infectious, wrapping around him like a warm blanket. "You're not what I expected, Emma," she mused aloud, her voice thoughtful. Liam raised an eyebrow, intrigued. "What do you mean?" "Well, Jenny said you were reserved." Emma explained, a blush creeping up her cheeks. "But you're easy to talk to." Liam chuckled softly, the sound reassuring. You're easy to talk to, too. Emma's smile widened, her earlier jitters fading into the background. She was about to delve deeper into his world of tech when her phone vibrated on the table. She glanced down, reading the message with growing dismay. "Hey, Emma, where are you? I'm at table 7, looking forward to meeting you, Kevin." Her heart plummeted. Slowly, she raised her eyes to Liam, her face flushed with embarrassment. "You're not Kevin, are you?" she whispered, her voice trembling. Liam's smile faltered, a shadow of guilt passing over his face. "No, I'm not." He admitted, the weight of the truth settling between them. As the realization dawned upon her, Emma gasped, "Oh my God!" She shot to her feet, her voice trembling with embarrassment. I'm so sorry I sat at the wrong table. This is just mortifying." "Wait!" Liam interjected, rising as well. "Emma, it's okay, But she was already gathering her coat, her cheeks aflame with embarrassment, and dashing towards the exit. Liam watched her retreat, a peculiar blend of regret and curiosity churning within him. He had meant to clarify her mistake from the very beginning. Yet now, as she disappeared, he found himself pondering if he would ever encounter her again, and why the notion of her absence unsettled him so profoundly. Back in his luxurious penthouse, Liam Parker gazed out at the shimmering skyline of New York City. The usual symphony of distant traffic and the soft glow of urban lights failed to soothe him tonight. His mind was adrift, anchored by the memory of his encounter with Emma at the restaurant. There was an undeniable genuineness to her, a warmth that seemed alien in his world of superficial charm and strategic dialogues. She had been candid, even vulnerable, sharing anecdotes of her life, with an innocence that was utterly refreshing. Unlike the business associates who doled out words as if they were currency, or the women who saw his wealth before they saw him, Emma had mistaken him for someone ordinary. This misidentification had only deepened her allure. For the first time in a long while, Liam was genuinely intrigued. Across town, Emma collapsed onto her modest apartment's couch, her groan muffled by a throw pillow. Her roommate, Jenny, peered over her laptop with a bemused look. "That bad, huh?" she asked, setting aside her work. Emma sat up, her face still tinged with the remnants of her earlier embarrassment. "Worse." I sat. Oh, the follies of mistaken identity. Emma, her cheeks aflame with the embarrassment of the night before, recounted to Jenny how she'd sat down with a complete stranger mistaking him for Kevin. The words spilled from her like water over a dam. "He was nice, really nice, actually, and funny, too. But then the real Kevin texted, and I bolted like a startled deer." Jenny, her eyes dancing with mirth, couldn't help but tease. "Sounds like the perfect setup for a rom-com, doesn't it?" Emma groaned, burying her face into a pillow. "I just hope I never see him again." But Jenny, ever the optimist, raised an eyebrow. "Are you sure about that? You said he was nice." With a sigh, Emma admitted, "He was, but it doesn't matter. I made a complete fool of myself." Jenny, shrugging, offered a comforting thought. "Maybe it's not the end of the world. People make mistakes. And hey, if he was as nice as you say, perhaps he didn't mind at all." Meanwhile, the next morning, Liam found himself lost in thought, his fingers drumming on the desk as he scrolled through emails. His assistant Claire was detailing the day's agenda when he suddenly interjected, "Cancel the lunch with Rothman." Claire paused, her gaze curious. You've been distracted since last night. Did something happen? Liam, his mind wrestling with the unexpected encounter, finally murmured, I met someone accidentally. Claire's eyebrow arched. Accidentally. Leaning back, Liam's expression softened. She thought I was someone else. We talked, and for the first time in years, it felt normal. Claire set her clipboard down, intrigued. And now? I want to see her again, Liam confessed simply. A faint smile played on Claire's lips. And how do you plan to make that happen? I have an idea, Liam said, standing his resolve firm. Later that day, as Emma was tidying up at the diner, her phone buzzed, breaking the monotony of her routine. As Emma pulled her phone from her pocket, she frowned at the unfamiliar number lighting up her screen. The message read, Hi, Emma. This is Liam. I was the guy at the restaurant the other night. I know it was a mix-up, but I'd like to see you again. Coffee, maybe. Her heart skipped a beat. Liam wasn't Kevin's friend, was he? That evening, she showed the text to Jenny, her brow furrowed with confusion. What do I do? She asked, her voice tinged with uncertainty. Jenny's grin was immediate and wide. You say yes, obviously. What's the worst that could happen? After a moment of hesitation, Emma's fingers danced across her phone, replying, Okay, coffee sounds nice. The coffee shop Liam chose was quaint, a hidden gem nestled away from the bustling city life. When Emma arrived, she found him already there, looking effortlessly charming in jeans and a button-down shirt. Hi, she said, her voice a mix of nerves and excitement, as she slid into the seat opposite him. Hey, Liam replied, his smile warm and inviting. Thanks for agreeing to this. Emma shrugged, her demeanor softening. I figured I owed you an apology for running out the other night. No apology necessary, Liam said, his honesty disarming. I'm glad you did. Otherwise, I might not have had a reason to text you. As they ordered their drinks, the conversation flowed effortlessly. Emma found herself relaxing, drawn in by Liam's dry, yet endearing humor. He was curious, asking about her art, her family, her dreams. So what do you do? Emma inquired after a while. I work in tech, Liam responded, his answer deliberately vague. Startups mostly. Emma nodded, her interest piqued. That sounds complicated. It can be, Liam admitted, but I like it. As the afternoon unfolded, Liam found himself more and more captivated by Emma's world. She spoke of her mother, whose medical bills necessitated 2 jobs, and her sketches, which she dreamed of turning into a full-time career. You're incredibly resilient, Liam said, his admiration palpable. Emma's laugh was soft, a melody that seemed to dance with the gentle clink of coffee cups in the background. Life doesn't give us much choice, does it? She mused, her eyes meeting his with a spark of shared understanding. In the quiet of the evening, Liam found himself back at his office, his mind a whirlwind of thoughts. His assistant, Claire, cornered him with a pointed remark. You've been out all day. What's going on with this woman? Liam sighed, the weight of his secret pressing down on him. He rubbed the back of his neck, a gesture of his inner turmoil. She's different, he murmured, his voice laced with a mix of hope and hesitation. Claire folded her arms, her expression stern yet concerned. And you're still not telling her who you really are, she pressed. Liam's admission was reluctant. Not yet. I want her to know me, not my bank account. Claire's demeanor softened slightly, but her tone remained firm. You can't keep this up forever, sir. She'll find out eventually, and if she does, it won't end well. Liam nodded, acknowledging the truth in her words, yet unwilling to risk the first genuine connection he had felt in years. The aroma of freshly brewed coffee enveloped Emma as she entered the cozy cafe, her nerves slightly more at ease this time. Spotting Liam at a corner table, she waved tentatively. He looked up, his smile warm and inviting, a stark contrast to the sharp business attire she remembered. Today he wore a simple gray sweater and jeans, effortlessly blending into the laid-back ambiance of the cafe. "Hi," Emma said, sliding into the seat across from him, her voice tinged with a mix of curiosity and caution. "Hi," Liam replied, his voice soft but genuine. "Thanks for meeting me again." Emma shrugged, attempting to mask her nerves. It's not every day someone you accidentally meet at a restaurant texts you. I was curious. Liam chuckled, the sound mingling with the hum of the cafe. Well, I'm glad curiosity won out. Their conversation flowed effortlessly, punctuated by laughter that seemed to dance with the background chatter. Liam asked about Emma's art, and she found herself opening up, sharing stories of how drawing had been her sanctuary during tough times, how her father's encouragement had fueled her passion, and her dreams of one day opening a studio for young artists. The air between them was charged with an unspoken understanding, a connection deepening with each shared word and laugh. Liam noticed the fervor in Emma's voice as she spoke, her passion palpable. "It's all I've ever dreamed of," Emma confessed, a gentle blush tinting her cheeks. "And you'll achieve it," Liam responded, his voice firm with conviction. Following their departure from the quaint cafe, Emma guided Liam to her cherished park, a secluded haven of winding paths and inviting benches perfect for capturing the world through art. "This is where my muse whispers to me," Emma revealed, her eyes alight with inspiration as she extracted a small worn sketchbook from her bag. She turned the pages, revealing a collection of detailed drawings, people, trees, and serene escapes. Liam, in awe, exclaimed, "These are breathtaking! Emma, you could make a fortune with these!" Emma responded with a bashful smile. "Perhaps one day. For now, they're just for me." As they meandered through the park, Emma paused to immortalize a tender moment, a child delighting in feeding ducks by the pond. Liam watched, entranced by her focused gaze and the graceful movement of her pencil. "You're incredible," he whispered, his voice barely a breath. Emma lifted her gaze, her eyes locking with his, questioning. "I'm just drawing," she said modestly. "No," Liam countered, his look intense. "It's much more than that." A few days later, Liam chivalrously offered to assist with Emma's grocery shopping, dismissing her concerns with a shrug. "You're going to regret this," Emma teased, standing in line at the local discount market. "Why so?" Liam asked, juggling a carton of milk. "Because these bags are heavy." Emma laughed. Upon arriving at her apartment building, Liam, without a word of complaint, shouldered the bulk of the load up the stairs, though he couldn't ignore the peeling paint and the flickering lights in the hallway. "This place has character," he remarked tactfully as they approached her door. Emma snorted. "That's certainly one way to describe it." Inside her apartment was snug, a cozy nest with art supplies strewn about the living room, and walls adorned with her own sketches, each telling a story of its own. Amidst the walls, adorned with vibrant sketches and paintings, Liam felt a surge of both admiration and guilt. Emma's modest living quarters brimmed with a warmth and creativity that transcended its simple furnishings. As they unpacked the groceries, Emma's voice took on a tender tone, weaving tales of her mother, a beacon of support for her artistic endeavors, now battling health woes. "It's tough sometimes," Emma confessed, her movements methodical as she stacked cans in the cupboard. "But I'm so fortunate to have her. She's the epitome of strength." Liam, touched by her words, found his respect for her deepening with each heartbeat. One evening the air buzzed with anticipation as Emma, her eyes alight with excitement, invited Liam to an art gallery opening. As they meandered through the gallery, her enthusiasm was infectious, her gaze lingering on each piece with a reverence that captivated Liam. They paused before a painting, a father and daughter, their silhouettes silhouetted against a serene lake, the brushstrokes thick with emotion. Emma's breath caught a silent testament to a memory stirred. "What is it?" Liam inquired, his voice soft, as he stepped closer. Emma's reply was a mere whisper, her eyes misting over. It reminds me of my dad. We used to go fishing every summer when I was young." She brushed away a tear, her voice tinged with embarrassment. "Sorry, it's silly, I know." "It's not silly at all," Liam reassured her, his hand finding her shoulder in a gesture of comfort. "He'd be proud of you." For a fleeting moment, the gallery faded, leaving only the profound unspoken bond between them. Walking back, Emma's mind was a whirlwind of confusion and yearning. Liam, or Kevin, as she still believed, had become a beacon of understanding in her life. Yet the persistent voice in her head reminded her of the vast chasm between their worlds. "I don't get it," she murmured, breaking the quiet, her gaze searching Liam's for some semblance of understanding. "Why are you spending time with me?" she had asked, her voice tinged with a mix of confusion and vulnerability. "You could be doing anything with anyone. Why me?" Liam hesitated, his guilt palpable as he responded, "Because I like being around you. Isn't that enough?" Emma offered a faint smile, her doubts still simmering beneath the surface. That evening, as the city lights twinkled like distant stars, Liam found himself alone in his penthouse. The truth weighed heavily on him, a secret that could potentially unravel everything they had. The thought of losing her was paralyzing, yet he knew he couldn't keep this facade up forever. For now, he clung to the fragile connection they shared, even if it was built on borrowed time. Meanwhile, Emma sat cross-legged on her couch, a steaming cup of tea in hand, the soft hum of city life a distant melody. Her eyes, however, were fixed on her phone, where a headline had just caught her attention. "Liam Parker, the elusive tech millionaire, expands philanthropic efforts." Intrigued, she clicked on the article. The photograph displayed a man in a sharp suit, his dark hair meticulously styled, his posture exuding confidence. Emma's brow creased as she peered closer at the screen. There was something eerily familiar about him. "Hey, Jenny!" she called out to her roommate, who was absorbed in a jigsaw puzzle at the kitchen table. "What's up?" Jenny asked, not lifting her gaze. Emma turned her phone towards Jenny, pointing at the photo. "Does this guy look like Kevin?" Jenny squinted, then chuckled. "Oh, definitely not. That guy's a billionaire or something, right? Kevin's much more down-to-earth." Emma frowned, the resemblance still nagging at her, but she dismissed the thought. "Don't be ridiculous," she muttered to herself. Days later, in a gesture of gratitude for his kindness and encouragement, Emma invited Liam over for dinner. When he arrived, bouquet of wildflowers in hand, her smile was warm and genuine. You didn't have to bring— Liam shrugged nonchalantly as he handed Emma the bouquet of flowers, his eyes conveying a silent thank you for the invitation to her humble abode. The meal she prepared was simplicity, at its finest spaghetti, intertwined with garlic bread served on plates that told their own tales of mismatched charm. As they savored each bite, Emma shared her dreams, her voice tinged with hope about submitting her sketches to a local art competition. Liam's earlier praise had ignited a spark within her. "You've done so much for me," Emma confessed, her eyes glowing with heartfelt gratitude. "Not just with my art, but your humility is so refreshing." Liam's smile wavered for a mere heartbeat before he regained his composure. "I'm just being myself," he murmured, lifting his glass of water in a subtle toast to authenticity. Yet as Emma continued, a shadow of guilt crossed his features. She trusted him, admired him even, but it was all built upon a foundation as fragile as glass. He wasn't ready to shatter it with the truth, not yet. Days later, the truth began its inexorable dance. Emma found herself volunteering at a high-profile charity event, her hands busy arranging auction items to support underprivileged youth. The air buzzed with excitement, the kind that precedes a grand reveal. "Who's that?" a volunteer whispered, pointing towards the grand entrance. Emma turned her heart, skipping a beat. There stood Liam, not as she had known him, but transformed, clad in a suit that spoke of power and prestige, his presence commanding the room's attention. "What is he doing here?" she thought, her pulse quickening with a mix of awe and confusion. The event organizer, with a flourish, approached Liam, his handshake firm and full of respect. "Ladies and gentlemen," he announced to the eager crowd, "we are honored to welcome our esteemed guest of honor, Mr. Liam Parker, whose generosity has made this evening possible." The applause was thunderous, but for Emma, it was as if the world had turned silent, her reality shifting beneath her feet. Liam Parker, the tech mogul, the man she thought she knew, stood before her, his true identity unfurling like a banner in the wind. Emma waited until the event's pace had slackened, her eyes scanning the room until they locked on Liam, who was engaged in casual conversation amidst a cluster of guests. There he stood, his demeanor as composed as ever, yet his eyes betrayed a flicker of surprise when they met hers. "Emma!" He uttered, his voice a blend of recognition and apprehension, stepping towards her with an unspoken question in his gaze. "We need to talk," she declared, her voice firm, the warmth drained from it, replaced by a chilling edge. He nodded silently, guiding her to a secluded corridor just beyond the ballroom's vibrancy. With her arms crossed tightly, Emma's gaze pierced through him like a sharp blade. "So, you're Liam Parker, the billionaire, the philanthropist. Care to explain why you masqueraded as someone else?" Liam sighed, his fingers running through his hair, a gesture of frustration. "I didn't intend to deceive you. When we first met, it was an accident. You mistook me for someone else, and for the first time, I wasn't just a figure of wealth, I was just Liam, and I cherished how freely we could speak." Emma's expression hardened, her jaw clenching. "So you chose to continue the charade? Let me fall for a man who doesn't even exist?" "No." Liam's voice was quick, desperate. "Everything I said, everything we shared, it was real. I didn't know how to reveal the truth without losing you. You mean without shattering the illusion? Emma retorted, her voice crescendoing with each word. Do you realize how humiliating this is? I trusted you, Liam. I thought you were different. I am different, Emma. Liam pleaded, his voice laced with urgency. You're the only one who's ever seen me, not my wealth. I didn't want Jeet to lose that connection. Tears welled in Emma's eyes, but she blinked them away, shaking her head in disbelief. You already have, she whispered, turning away, her steps swift and decisive. Liam's hand reached out, as if to pull her back, but he stopped, the weight of his mistake crushing his spirit, knowing there were no words left to mend what was broken. That fateful night, Emma sat in her room, her eyes fixed on the sketches sprawled before her, yet her mind was far from the lines and shades. A tempest of emotions, anger, betrayal. A profound sadness raged within her, blurring the lines between her art and her turmoil. Jenny, ever the gentle presence, knocked softly on the door, her head peeking through. You okay, Emma? She whispered. Emma's response was a slow shake of her head, tears tracing silent paths down her cheeks. No, not really. She managed her voice a mere whisper of its usual vibrancy. Without a word, Jenny sat beside her, wrapping her in a comforting embrace. Do you want to talk about it? She offered, her voice soft, like the brush strokes on a canvas. Hesitating, Emma finally murmured, I don't know if I was falling for him or the version of him I thought I knew. Her words were a confession, a revelation of her own confusion and heartbreak. Jenny's arms tightened around her. Whatever it was, you deserve someone who's honest with you. Don't settle for anything less, she urged, her voice firm yet filled with warmth. As the night stretched on, Emma lay awake, her gaze lost in the shadows dancing on the ceiling. She made a silent vow to guard her heart. Liam Parker might have charmed her with his kindness, but the sting of betrayal was too sharp. For now, she needed to focus on herself, to leave Liam and his deceit in the shadows of her past. Meanwhile, Liam sat at his desk. The city lights that usually offered solace now seemed cold and distant. He replayed Emma's words in his mind, their weight crushing him. You already have, she had said, her voice echoing in his memory. He hadn't merely lied. He'd shattered the trust of the one person who saw beyond his wealth and status. Now she was gone. I have to fix this, he muttered to himself, determination setting in. His assistant Claire entered the room holding out a steaming cup of coffee. Long night, she asked, her eyebrow arching in curiosity. Liam glanced up, his expression resolute. I need advice, he admitted, a rare vulnerability in his voice. Claire, intrigued, nodded. That's new. What's the situation? It's about Emma. Liam began, his voice heavy with regret, as he recounted the evening's events. Claire listened intently, then nodded thoughtfully. If she's as special as you say, you'll... The day after his heartfelt plea, Liam mustered the courage to knock on the door of Emma's apartment. To his astonishment, Jenny answered, her arms folded tightly across her chest. You've got some nerve, she remarked sharply. Liam, with a voice brimming with sincerity, pleaded, I need your help, please. Jenny, after a moment of hesitation, exhaled a long sigh. Fine, she conceded. You have 5 minutes. Inside, Liam unveiled his audacious plan. He yearned to purchase the quaint gallery Emma had always fantasized about owning, to fill it with her art. He had been secretly amassing her sketches and drawings, understanding their profound significance to her. "I want her to see that I believe in her," Liam declared, his eyes alight with determination, "and that I'll go to any lengths to make amends." Jenny scrutinized him, her gaze lingering before she gave a slow nod. "She deserves someone who will fight for her," she said, her voice softening. "Don't mess this up." The weeks that followed were a whirlwind of preparation. Liam dedicated himself to the project, collaborating with the gallery owner to finalize the purchase, meticulously arranging Emma's artwork. Each piece was framed and illuminated, transforming the gallery into a sanctuary celebrating her talent and vision. On the day of the reveal, Liam left a handwritten note on the front desk, ensuring every detail was perfect, before he slipped away unnoticed. Meanwhile, Emma was making her way home from work when Jenny intercepted her, her voice urgent. "You need to come with me." Confused, Emma questioned, "What? Why?" But Jenny was insistent. "Just trust me," she said, guiding her towards the gallery Emma had admired for years. As they approached, Emma's steps faltered. The sign on the door read, "Special Exhibit, The Art of Emma Brooks." Her heart pounded as she crossed the threshold. Inside, the space was alive with her creations, landscapes that whispered of serene escapes, portraits that captured the essence of humanity, and whimsical sketches that danced with joy. Here in this gallery was the silent testament of Liam's love and belief in her, a gallery that was now undeniably hers. In the hushed expanse of the gallery, a solitary note lay like a beacon on a pedestal, claiming the vast, echoing space as its own. Emma, with trembling fingers, lifted the missive, her heart pounding a fierce rhythm against her ribs. "Your art deserves the world, just as you deserve honesty, love, and someone who truly sees the essence of who you are. Let me try again, Liam." Tears welled in her eyes, blurring the familiar strokes and vibrant hues of her own creations that adorned the walls. Each piece was a mirror, reflecting her innermost dreams and battles laid bare for all to see. Suddenly, Liam emerged from behind a partition, his presence both a shock and a balm to her aching heart. His expression was a delicate blend of hope and trepidation. "Emma," he began, his voice steady, yet laced with the raw edge of emotion. "I know I've forfeited any right to your forgiveness, but I couldn't bear the thought of you leaving without witnessing how profoundly you've touched my life." She turned to him, her tears now streaming freely, a testament to her inner turmoil. "You shattered my trust, Liam. How can I ever erase that betrayal from my memory?" Liam nodded, his gaze never wavering from hers. "I understand. But if you allow me, I'll dedicate my life to earning back that trust. You are the only truth in a world of illusions for me." Her gaze drifted away, her heart caught in a tempest of conflicting emotions. "You made me feel insufficient, as if I couldn't bear the weight of your truths. Was that your intention?" she asked, her voice quivering with hurt. Liam's voice cracked a fissure in his usual composure. "No, that wasn't it at all. I was terrified, Emma. Terrified that knowing the truth would alter your perception of me, that you'd leave before I could even begin to show you the real me." Emma stood on the precipice of her emotions, her love for him undeniable, yet the leap of faith required to trust him again seemed daunting. "Perhaps," she murmured, her voice barely above a whisper, "some things, some people are worth giving another chance." Liam's eyes lit up with a flicker of hope. but Emma raised her hand, a silent plea for patience. "I'm not promising it will be easy," she cautioned, her resolve softening with her words, "but I'm willing to try." Liam moved closer, his voice rich with gratitude. "That's all I could ever hope for." There they stood, amidst the vibrant display of Emma's artwork, the tension between them softening ever so slightly. Yet, as Emma departed that evening, she cast a fleeting glance back, her face an enigma. Liam watched her retreat, his heart weighed down, yet buoyed by a flicker of hope. He had made his play, but the next move was hers to make. In the solitude of her bedroom, Emma perched by the window, her gaze lost in the stillness of the street below. The note from Liam, left amidst the colors and canvases of the gallery, now lay in her hands, its message seared into her memory. "Let me try again." Days had slipped by, each moment filled with the echo of his betrayal, his remorse, and the lengths to which he had gone to affirm his love. The gallery, an exhibition of her soul's creations, wasn't merely a grandiose gesture. It was a testament to his faith in her, even when her own belief wavered. Her heart, a battleground of emotions, pulled her in opposing directions. One part urged her to shield herself, to step away before the pain could strike again. Yet the louder, more insistent part whispered the undeniable truth: she still loved him. With a deep, steadying breath, she donned her coat, her phone in hand, and ventured out. The cafe was an oasis of warmth, its cozy ambiance a sharp contrast to the storm of nerves brewing within Emma as she entered. There at their old table sat Liam, the very spot where their story had begun. He lifted his eyes as she neared his face, a canvas of hope mixed with trepidation. "Emma," he murmured, rising as she arrived. "Hi," she responded, her voice calm, despite the whirlwind in her chest. They settled into their seats, the silence stretching between them like a taut string, until Liam broke it. "I wasn't sure you'd come," he confessed. "I almost didn't," Emma admitted, meeting his gaze, her voice firm yet laced with the vulnerability of her heart's decision. "Over the past few weeks, I've been wrestling with the shadows of doubt, trying to determine if I could ever place my trust in you again, Liam. And in this introspective journey, I've come to a realization: I don't yearn for grand displays or material proofs of your affection. What I crave is the simple, pure essence of honesty." Liam leaned forward, his voice imbued with a sincerity that seemed to pierce through the lingering fog of our past. "You have my word, Emma. No more secrets, no more deceit, just me, as long as you'll have me." Emma's eyes searched his, scanning for any flicker of insincerity, but all she found was the clear, unclouded sky of his honesty. Slowly she nodded, her heart cautiously rekindling with hope. "Let's try again," she whispered, her voice a mix of trepidation and determination. Relief swept over Liam like a cool breeze on a sweltering day, and for the first time in weeks, his smile broke through the guarded walls he had built around himself. Months later, Emma stood in the heart of her newly unveiled art gallery, the air alive with the buzz of excitement. The room was a mosaic of vibrant canvases, each telling a story, each a testament to Emma's vision and the talents of the budding artists she had nurtured. Liam had been there not with his wealth, but with his relentless support, insisting that this gallery was hers in spirit and in deed. Emma had invested every ounce of her passion into creating a sanctuary for creativity, a place where the community could gather and be inspired. As she moved through the crowd, a gentle tap on her shoulder pulled her from her thoughts. Turning, she saw Liam looking sharp, yet with that familiar, mischievous twinkle in his eye. "Can I borrow you for a moment?" he asked, his voice playful, yet earnest. Emma's smile was immediate and warm. "You already have me, but sure," she replied. He led her to the front of the room where the crowd hushed in anticipation. Facing her, Liam's voice rang clear and true. "Emma, you sat at the wrong table that night, but from that moment, I knew you were the right person for me." The room filled with a collective intake of breath, hearts swelling with the romance of their journey. As Liam reached into his pocket, the room held its breath, watching with bated anticipation. He drew out a small velvet box, his eyes shimmering with a profound affection that only deepened the moment. "I love you for your strength, your kindness, and the way you see beauty in everything and everyone," he declared, his voice rich with emotion. "You've transformed my life in ways I never dreamed possible. So, Emma Brooks, will you marry me?" Tears welled in Emma's eyes, her heart swelling with a joy so pure it could only be described as divine. The room erupted into applause, a symphony of celebration for their love. She laughed softly, brushing away the tears. "Only if you promise no more secrets," she whispered, her voice trembling with hope. Liam's grin was steadfast, his promise as solid as the earth beneath their feet. "I promise," he vowed, and with that Emma extended her hand, a silent yes that spoke volumes. Their wedding was nothing short of magical and intimate affair, held within the very gallery that had witnessed the blossoming of their love. Surrounded by Emma's vibrant art and the warm embrace of their community, Liam made a substantial donation to the gallery's outreach program. This gesture ensured that the space would continue to nurture the dreams of young artists, a testament to their shared vision. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a golden hue through the gallery windows, Emma and Liam danced their first dance. "I'm glad I sat at the wrong table," Emma murmured, her voice laced with love and a touch of mischief. Liam pulled her closer, his smile tender. "It was the best mistake either of us ever made," he agreed, his voice a gentle caress. As the music filled the air, and their loved ones watched their hearts full, Emma and Liam embarked on their new chapter. They knew their love had conquered every challenge, emerging stronger, more resilient. Under the soft glow of the gallery lights, their dance was not just a celebration of their union, but a testament to the unexpected beauty life can offer. Indeed, Emma's journey illustrates that trust, forgiveness, and love can weave the most ordinary beginnings into something truly remarkable, a reminder that sometimes the greatest joys arise from the most unforeseen mistakes. Together, we've seen love, resilience, and the incredible power of second chances unfold in this moving tale. If your heart has been touched, if your spirit has been lifted, show it with a thumbs up. Let this story be a beacon of hope for someone else. Share it with a friend who needs a spark of inspiration today. And as we close this chapter, remember, what more could we achieve together? Thank you for joining us on this emotional journey. Your support means the world to us. Please comment, like, share, and subscribe for more tales that stir the soul. Until our next story, keep the faith, and know that together we can conquer all.